This module is on monetary and non-monetary benefits. As an introduction of this module, when we look at the managers and the administrators who spend a lot of time in searching for ways to create a motivational environment at workplace, the optimal levels to accomplish the company's objectives, motivation is through the monetary and non-monetary benefits. Workplace motivators include monetary and non-monetary incentives. Monetary incentives can be diverse, which have a similar effect on associates, such as the company health insurance program and so on. The purpose of the monetary benefits is to reward the employees with excellent job performance through money, including profit sharing as bonuses, stock options for the employees and warranties, scheduled bonuses during festival seasons, and additional paid vacation times, and so on. Traditionally, if we look into these such benefits to the employees, they have helped to maintain a positive motivational environment for all the employee at food service organizations. The purpose of the non-monetary benefits in the same way is to reward the associates, the employees, for their excellent job performance through their opportunities, including the flexible work hours for the employees, training them properly at frequent intervals, and also to educate on the pleasant work environment, and also inclusion of sabbaticals and so on. And now we look into these in detail. As an objective of this module, we have two objectives, and this is to compile the various benefits of employees at food service operations, and we will also look into the ways to understand the implementation of such benefits, monetary and non-monetary ways, among the employees at food service organizations. Now we will look into detail on what are the monetary compensations that are received to the employees. Monetary incentive rewards workers for their performance and productivity through cash or money. These incentives include employee stock options, profit sharing plans, paid time off bonuses, and cash awards in any form. Additional monetary incentives include bonuses and cash rewards, and these include, apart from these, the annual or semi-annual bonuses such as the mid-year or end-of-year rewards, which will motivate the employees during festival occasions. These incentives also encourage a friendly competition between the other employees at the work and also link it to the job performance. Monetary rewards always motivate employees to produce optimally with effective and efficient work performance at work. Now, if we look into the other non-monetary benefits of the employees, the non-monetary incentives rewards employee performance through their perks and opportunities. These rewards include flexible work hours for the employees, especially if there are women at work, and also training opportunities and the ability to work independently based on their performance and ability to show at work. The rewards and incentives are valuable to an employee because they allow the employees to learn skills and pursue advancement opportunities. For example, a recent graduate may view an exemplary training program as his way of improvement than a higher base salary at the initial stages of its work atmosphere, and his opportunities through these non-monetary benefits will work the new employee at the workplace. Now, the basic purpose for establishment of such a sound compensation, either in the form of monetary or non-monetary compensation and reward administration, the basic purpose of establishment of sound compensation and reward administration is to establish and maintain an equitable compensation structure to all its employees without any bias. Its secondary objectives is also the establishment and maintenance of an equitable labor cost structure and also an optimal balancing of conflicting personal interests that occurs well within the atmosphere of the satisfaction of employees and also employers as maximized, and conflicts will be minimized largely. A sound wage and salary compensation tries to achieve these objectives both for employees and also as well for employers. Now, when we look into what happens in the hands of the employees, employees are paid according to the requirements of jobs and they are satisfied to the primary needs and as well the secondary needs. That is, for example, a highly skilled jobs are paid more compensation than the lower skilled jobs, which we usually call as the white collar jobs and the blue collar jobs. The white collar jobs being the highly skilled jobs and the blue collars the lower skilled ones. This eliminates inequalities among the employees. Also, the chances of favoritism which creep also are assigned are greatly minimized to a great extent. The job sequences and lines of promotion are established wherever they are applicable. And also the employee morale and motivation is increased to higher because a wage program can be explained and is based upon certain factors. And also this does not stand alone with the employees, also it stands beneficial to the employers. They can very well have systematically planned for and control their labor cost, which will automatically affect the other costs on the establishment. In dealing with a trade union, for example, they can explain the basis of their wage programs because it is based upon a systematic analysis of job and wage facts. Also, a wage and a salary component may reduce the likelihood of a wage and a salary administration also reduces the likelihood of friction and grievances over wage inequities. Also, it enhances an employee's morale and motivation because adequate and fairly administered wages are basic to his wants and needs of all the employees. And furthermore, it attracts the qualified employees by ensuring adequate payment for them. And when we look into the different types of compensation in general which is given to the employees by the employer or the administrators, it includes basic pay, commissions, overtime pay, bonuses, profits sharing and merit pays, stock options. Suppose if the company is issuing stocks or debentures, this may be issued to the employees, travel, meal, housing allowances, and benefits include also the dental, insurance, medical, vacation leaves, retirements, taxes, and so on. And these compensation and rewards are classified into two types as direct compensation and number 2, indirect compensation. Money is included. Cash is included under direct compensation, and the employees, whatever they receive in terms of cash, is under the direct compensation as monetary benefits, which is usually given as a basic salary or a wage, that is gross pay. And also where these individuals are entitled for his job, overtime work and holidays, premium bonuses based on performance, profit sharing and opportunities to purchase stock options. And while benefits come under indirect compensations in other forms than cash, may consist of the health insurances in terms of life coverage, accident coverage, health insurance, the employer's contribution to the retirement, that is for pensions, pay for vacations or illness, and employers' required payments for employee welfare and also for the security of the employees. Also, while French says the term incentive systems has a limited meaning that excludes many kinds of while French says the term incentive system has a limited meaning that it excludes many kinds of inducements offered to people to perform work or to work up to or beyond acceptable standards, and it does not include wage or salary payments and merit pay, which is mainly issued in terms of cash. And also overtime payments when they work extra, pay for holiday work, or differential according to shifts, all payments which could be considered incentives to perform work at undesirable times too. And also premium pay for performing danger tasks. It is related with wage payment plans which tie wages directly or indirectly to standards of productivity or to the profitability of the organization, or to both criteria sometimes. The compensation represents by far the most important and continuous element in the employment relationship and is of equal interest to the employer, employee, and also to the government in some way or the other. To the employer, because it represents a significant part of his cost, is increasingly important to the performance of the employees at work and also to meet the competitiveness of the industry, and affects the ability to recruit and retain a labor force with quality. To the employee, because it is a fundamental to his standard of living and is a measure of value of his services or performance to the food service organization. And thirdly, to the government also, because it affects aspects of macroeconomic stability such as employment, inflation, purchasing power, and socio-economic development in general. While the basic wage or pay is the main component of compensation, the fringe benefits as cash and non-cash benefits include the level of wages or pay, because the employer is concerned more about the labor cost than the wage rates per se. The tendency now is towards an increasing mix of pay elements of executive compensation and has substantially increased in recent years. Now, after having seen all this, we will look in detail on the methods of compensation to the employees. The operating companies need to develop a compensation package for their employees depending on the size, type of the business operation. Employers may choose to compensate their employees at food service in number of different ways. Below is the number of different methods of compensation. Now, the different modes of compensation are: the basic one as monetary benefits is the wages and salaries. Although we use the term wages and salaries interchangeably in payroll accounting, the two terms have different definitions. Wage refers to the earning of employees and is calculated on hourly basis or daily basis or weekly basis and are given only when the work is available and is not permanent. But whereas the salary refers to the earnings of the employee whose pay is calculated on a weekly, bi-weekly, semi-monthly or a monthly basis and is a permanent go through to the employee. And when we look into commissions given by the employer to the employee, the sales commission plans vary greatly from one food service organization to another food service organization, but are generally based on the amount of sales made during the payroll period, and commission income is considered the same as the wages or salaries for withholding and reporting purposes of the employee to the employer. Commissions are usually computed on a certain percentage or commission rate. Some commissioned employees may not be exempt from the minimum wage requirement. The employer must determine the regular hourly rate for each non-exempt salesperson during the week and make sure this rate is at least equal to the current minimum wage, which we call as the minimum wage fixed. And now when we look into piece rate plan, employees at the food service organizations are also paid on the amount of work they do as piece rate plan and receive a certain amount for each item produced. For example, at the food production units, this system is adopted. Gross earnings always equal the rate per item multiplied by the number of items produced during the payroll period. And this is usually compensated into the wage or the salary component. And now when we look into the recent concept of combination plans, many food service organizations pay the employees, especially at the front of the house operations, both a salary and also commission. Such as a combination plan will provide some regular income and also offer an incentive for their superior sales done during their performance period. And also draws. These draws are often given to employees in the sales section who work only for commission, and a draw is an advance given to the salesperson that will be collected when future sales transactions are closed completely. These draws will be subtracted from the employee's commission after an applicable taxes and are calculated and has been withheld for some reasons. This draw is subject to all payroll without withholding the taxes and other types of earnings. And apart from these income, the other types of earnings include bonus. Bonus in different ways referred to be based on the profitable operations of the food service organizations and are paid at the end of the year. A common type of bonus may be offered to the sales people for sales of a specific product or service. Another type of bonus plan is that the part of the employment agreement pays managers in the yearly sales or the yearly revenue or yearly profit to the certain level. And also profit sharing payments are also shared to the employees. A profit sharing plan, like a bonus plan, can be structured in a number of different ways. An employer may elect to pay cash to the employees or sometimes give them stocks or debentures of the same food service organization, and also may set up a deferred compensation fund which may be helpful during their retirement of the employees. And other taxable forms of compensation is also given to the employees as compensation. Sometimes other payments to employees are required that are equivalent to wages or salaries. These include non-cash fringe benefits that is included as employees' gross earnings, and fringe benefits may include the following concepts: the personal use of companies' cars, free or discounted airline flights, vacations for their families, discounts on properties or services, membership in country clubs or other social clubs which they may use during vacation, and tickets to entertainment or sporting events are usually referred as the fringe benefits to the employees. And also sometimes the expenditures can be reimbursed and is termed as reimbursed expenses. Usually the payments made to the employees for travel and other necessary business expenses are taxable only if needed. The employee does not have to substantiate these expenses with receipts or other documentations. The employer advances an amount to the employee for business expenses, and also the employee uses for these accounts. Travel and entertainment reimbursements or other expense allowances paid to the employee under a non-accountable plan are also included as wages. Under a non-accountable plan, the employee is given a certain non-accountable amount, which is the money towards expenses, but does not have to substantiate them or return any excess cash retained in hands of the employee. Under an accountable plan, the travel allowances of the employees prior to travel in excess or deficit must be repaid to the employer with a reasonable and specified period of time through proper receipts and bills. And the next form of compensation is sick pay. In general, sick pay is any amount paid to the employee because of illness or any injury under a plan providing for such benefits. The amounts are dispersed by the insurance company or sometimes the employee trust and a reference to the third party payments sometimes. And also other form of compensation, especially in the food service organization, is through tips. In certain food service organizations, employees receive compensation also in the form of gratuities or tips. A tip is an additional amount from a customer for the services rendered by the employee. The bartenders and restaurant servers usually receive such tips in addition to the wages given by the employer. The hairstylists, taxi drivers also depend on tips as major source of income and also form a basic form of compensation to the employees. And now when we look into the supplemental wages, this also forms a major compensation to the employees. And this differs much from the regular wages only in that they may be based on different payroll period, computed on a different compensation plan or rate, or paid at different time rather than regular wages. In addition to certain payments are, by their nature or timing, supplemental wages play an important role. Such payments include retroactive pay increases, the severance pays, bonuses, commissions, the taxable fringe benefits, awards, and vacation pay on termination may all come under such benefits. The distinction between the regular and supplemental wages is important because special rules has to be applied to withhold on such supplemental wages. And now, apart from all these compensation, we also have one term which is exempt payments. Compensation not considered wages include sickness and injury payments under a workers' compensation law. And these payments are likely to be tax deductible, such as qualified moving expenses, reimbursements, money received or paid usually for work by the hour or day or week or month, a calculation or statement of money earned for a period of a hourly wage up to 1 year, that is the annual wages, are calculated. And now we will look into see what are the advantages of such compensation to the employee and as well the employers. The employee incentives can generate a healthy competition between the individuals, that is the team of employees within the food service organization. If only a certain number of employees receive incentives based on individual or group performance, that can make everyone work harder if the incentive is compelling enough. Concurrently, commission schemes, which are another type of incentive, can spur sales to work smarter and harder, because a significant portion of their pay depends on performance incentives to the employees. And at the same time, we also have some disadvantages to these types of compensations. In a perfect meritocracy, where the employees who work the hardest always reap the most rewards, incentives pose little problems. But no companies or food service organizations operate in an ideal world, and thus incentives can breed resentment and discord among the teams and the employees. While it is also easy to quantify a salesman's performance, but it is harder to quantify a staff writer's contribution to the department, which can be always differentiated as the workers at the front office and also the workers at the back house. Even if the back house departments do much higher and harder, this will not reflect, and this can lead to those under an incentive scheme to feel unappreciated or the recipients of unfair treatment. And also, apart from all these compensations, also the recent concepts catched among the companies is that they rely on employees staying on the cutting edge of technological or industry advances and offer non-monetary compensation by way of sending them to conferences, seminars, or attend the workshop trainings and few days away from office at high-tech conferences where your travel, hotel, food and entertainment costs are covered by the employer is also a non-monetary form of compensation to the employees. And such instances, the employees also get out of the office for few days but get to travel and learn new things for it to be used and updated in the food service organization when they are back to work. And also, the other catching up concept is the flexible work schedules. The flex schedules are one of the easiest ways to entice or enable the employees without addressing the compensation. Maybe if the person is early riser and like to get off to work early, the food service organization, let's start your work early the day and work only for 4 days a week, 10 hours a day, or offer a 3-day weekend twice a month is a perk that cannot be turned down. A flexible work schedule comes in handy as to take care of the family needs if the woman is employed at the food service organizations and holds down a job at the same time. Like this, we have many such compensations both in the form of monetary and non-monetary benefits to the employees, especially at the service industry like ours, the food service organizations. Now, as I conclude to this module on monetary and non-monetary compensation, furthermore, the other monetary benefits to the employees include the expansion of the course fee waivers for the children, employee assistance programs, adequate and affordable healthcare benefits, short-term family leaves for vacation and disability benefits, expanded and formalized flex time options, which are most popular nowadays, with adequate salaries, accessible, affordable child and adult care leaves and partner benefits. And also, apart from all these monetary benefits received in terms of cash, the employees are also entitled for non-monetary benefits including enhanced communication, the supervisor training and consistency, respect and appreciation of work contributions, and accessible and also confidential grievance structures. These will enable the employees both at the front of the house operations and also at the back house operations to create a self-belongingness with the industry and give the best performance at workplace, which is both beneficial to the employee and also the employer of the food service organization.